Welcome to Tradespoon and Yellow Tunnel. My name is Vlad Karpel. I'm CEO and founder of Tradespoon and Yellow Tunnel, and today we're going to have a live trading, our weekly strategy roundtable discussion where we talk about current market conditions and answer any questions you might have. For those of you who are new, welcome. This is my brief bio. Disclosures are very important. Please read them. Trading stock and options involve risk, not suitable for everyone. You must be aware of the risk and be willing to accept it in order to invest in current market conditions. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not registered with FINRA or SEC. I'm showing you what I do in my own account based on my own risk tolerance level for general education information purposes only. You can see the relation between Yellow Tunnel, Tradespoon, and Avantgarde Trading. All right, let's jump into a market. Carl, welcome back. So stock forecast toolbox for today, basically short market is range bound, right? As we go into midterm elections, as we go into Jackson Hole meeting next week, a neutral trend, potentially reaching 750 on the downside in the next 10 days as we approach in Labor Day weekend to all-time high 770, right? A lot of it will depend on the market interest rates, path of interest rates. And if you guys have any questions, just do me a favor, type in questions. Now I'll be more than happy to answer them. So stock forecast toolbox, 750, 770 is the overhead resistance. And if you look at the 6 months, 740 on the downside, 810, 800 on the downside. I agree with the model. I think as we approach in earnings, probably, or as we approach in the next September and the September expiration, I think market is range bound. I think market does hold 740, even though we do have a down week this, but I think 740 is reasonable to assume, right, where the 20-day average line is. 10-year yield continues to grind higher. We made marginal new highs on 10-year. We've made new highs on the 30-year yield. A sharp drawdown in a dollar. Sharp drawdown in a dollar. So that's, I think, it's supportive to say that we're probably going to have shallow pullbacks. 740. I mean, I guess it could get to the recent low, 720, last month's low. But I think that we're kind of range bound for the months of, the rest of the August and September. And then midterm elections, and then I think market can hopefully more clarity in terms of interest rate path, and will we have rate hike September, or is it pushed to December, or pushed to the next year? We'll just have to wait and see based on inflation data. So that's 6 months prediction, 10-day prediction. Again, if you look at the seasonality, chart for spiders, it is showing potentially that September, right, starting there was September expiration, you could have sharp pullback. And we were actually looking at the bar chart. Total gamma, total positioning in August expires today, so please be careful with your August positions. But then you do have September. Position. It's something you can keep in mind. Any questions? Sorry, I'm gonna move. You guys have any questions? Can you hear this noise in the background? Is it bothering you? I don't know if you guys can hear it. I can move to a different room. Renata? Well, okay. I guess yeah, it's okay. All right, perfect. All right, so then September is your largest expiration here. That's why no noise in the background. Very nice. I think iPads are actually noise cancellation, so that's good. So September continues to be well positioned, right? You can see expiration, large gamma. This is sum of all the open contracts on SPX, $130 billion. So I think September is already well hedged. People are concerned and they are hedging. So that's the good news. How do we help on Tradespoon in terms of technologies? So definitely we have a live trading room. Between Keith and I, we have live trading room every day that I encourage you to participate. And then we go over market condition, macroeconomic drop, right? We talked about Bitcoin, right? One of the best performing asset classes this week is Bitcoin on above average volume. We talked about healthcare, right? The Moderna announcement. These are, asset classes that are leading the market, whether it's, Merck or Moderna, some of the other biotech companies, or Bitcoin. Crude oil, right? Oil, continues to rally on the uncertainty in the Middle East, right? And escalation in the Middle East. So that's still a concern. And then we have different signals. So today, the signal for active trader. Let's look at the active trader. Let's look at the weekly trader. So active trader, weekly trader, monthly trader, these are the signals. I don't trade all of these signals. I trade some of them. So let's look at what we have today. Agilent technology, right? So still strong uptrend in biotech, right? And healthcare in general. So Agilent had a strong week as well. And that's on the radar. So I actually traded Agilent in this case. PayPal, I did not trade, but PayPal also shows a strong uptrend. So that's active trader. It gets published every day, right? You have signals every day. And then, if you want to use leverage, you can buy options, right? You can buy options. Agilent technology, instead of buying a stock, you can buy monthly call or weekly call, just depending on your trading style. We do encourage you to break the trade into two, right? And you can see in this case, 145 plus 550, that's that $150 entry price, just using options. But that's assuming pullback and market is down, market is up today. So you do it based end of close, which is $11 plus 145. That's $156. So that would be the entry point for Agilent technology. Weekly Trader gets published every week, right? In the beginning of the week, on August 17th, we published 3 bullish, 3 bearish ideas. Harley Davidson had a decent week, so that was a good signal. Dell Technologies struggling. I actually have a Dell position, so Dell kind of pulled back along with other AI names this week. Zion, right? Regional banks also had a bad week with the government intervention and buying treasuries and dollar dropping. Banks and 30-year continues to go higher. Dollar regional banks continue to be under pressure. So these are the signals. Some of them might trade, some of them might don't, but definitely can help you with portfolio construction, portfolio rebalancing. So that's something you can keep in mind. What else? So these are the signals. This is the research. You can also look at the probability calculator to see, where the support. 748 is your support. 776. I think that makes sense in terms of the markets. What else? So we talked about stock forecast toolbox, screener, active trader, weekly trader. Then the rest, this Vlad's portfolio and spread trade, shadow trader. This is all following my trades. Premium portfolio just spreads. Shadow trades and spread trader, these are just spreads. Shadow trader is all of the my trades. And Elite Circle basically gives you access to everything. The signals, right? The stock forecast toolbox, the aggressive trader and weekly trader, and then you have Elite Circle. Elite Circle is where you can actually see the trades. So some of them are spreads. I closed my TFC position, went against me, so I closed it. I have Merck position that's about to get triggered, I guess. Have to watch Merck. I have a strong rebound, I think, today. Yeah, so Merck is making new highs. That continues to grind higher. I did put a hedge, right? So it's a combination. Some of them options, some of them spreads. I did put a QQQ put spread to hedge 700, 680 put spread, right? QQQ has been underperforming the market. QQQ has been underperforming the market, struggling with the 50-day moving average, unable to break, it's kind of fighting for this downtrend again. It briefly broke above it, and now it's briefly trading below that. So, not a great setup, right, in technology. That's the sign of concern, right, that there is only so far stocks can be moved by healthcare and Bitcoin, that, potentially you could have larger drawdowns. What else? And some of them are stock position, right? So I think I started IWM, right? Or JP, not today, but last 7 days. So I bought IWM as a long-term position. I bought JP Morgan as a long-term position. So I do have a JP Morgan position. So those are some of the signals and specific trades. Sometimes I'm an aggressive trader like Merck, it's a single option. Sometimes it's a spread like JP Morgan's or stock, JP Morgan, IWM. So it's a combination. You can see all of my trades, right? You can see all of my trades. You can see all my positions. This is all accessible to you. You have morning bell and closing bell, Keith Harwood. I encourage you to schedule a consultation with Keith Harwood, and you guys can talk about how to use our services to the best, take advantage of the services. You can also participate in live trading room. What else? Morning bell, closing bell. I encourage you to watch the recordings. You can see the trades, and that's Elite Circle. And we do have Robo Investor, where it's just stock trades, and then you have access to all of our material, free education. Right? We have manuals on Stock Forecast Toolbox, build a short-term trading plan, long-term trade. You have a library of all the webinars. We have a YouTube channel that you can sign up, and that's something I would encourage you to take advantage of. Any questions? If there are no other questions, then I think, Renata, any questions? Let's look at some of the positions so we can and then we can call it a day. So QQQ flat for today. Gold miners, strong performance gold miners on the dollar, right? Weaker dollar due to government intervention, Japanese and American buying yen, buying treasuries, and dollar had a sharp pullback, and that benefiting the gold miners. Probably overdone. What else is interesting? In Google today, we're not going anywhere, right? Google is still struggling. Bitcoin, strong performance in Bitcoin on potentially Clarity Act. Higher probability of Clarity Act being passed. SPX is fighting for the 7,700 level. Let's see what else is interesting. Tempest continues to grind higher, another 5%. Moderna is up 13%. Energy continues to be elevated. Antep, Dell going higher, Google slightly higher, Amazon slightly lower. Microsoft dropped below 500. Right, so now that's a major overhead resistance for Microsoft. And energy, right? Escalation in the Middle East. All right. Tesla looks like filling the gap. Yeah, I mean, hyperscalers are under pressure, right? They're raising trillions of dollars in the next 10 years to build out data centers. Interest rates are going higher, and that narrative continues. It started with the software names, then it got transferred to utilities, then it got transferred to hyperscalers, then semiconductors. As long as there is uncertainty about the path of interest rates, that volatility is going to persist in these names. But Tesla is trying to close its gap, and obviously it's a great stock. There, Cursor and SpaceX and cloud computing. This is all a longer-term vision where this is a multi-trillion-dollar company, and I guess that trade persists. By and what expiration? Agilent call. If you're looking for Agilent call, Single call, I would go into either September or October, right? I would go into either September or October. So if I go to trade, let's look at our friends in Avantgarde. And I go to my trading orders, my trading option trade. So September, I don't know, October, maybe even October, 30 days. I think people are still going to gravitate towards healthcare. So September or October, single call, I would buy maybe. Depends how big is your account, right? If you don't want to risk more than 2.5% of your portfolio, I would buy 165 call for $4. How much is it in October? A little bit more, 550. In September, I think it's fine. So September, I would buy 165 call, right, for $4.15. If it drops below $2, I would consider maybe exiting, but that would be my trade. If you want single call spread, maybe 165, 170. You can look at the, let's see, position. Alcoa, not Alcoa, but Agilent is probably not the most liquid name. So you have 155, 160 is a large gamma, right? So 155, 160. So it's probably going to trade between, well, this is 150 strike, right? So somewhere between 150 and 160. So 150, 160. So if you buy, I would do small. I think much better entry point would be 150 because it is getting overbought. So I would buy maybe one contract here. If it hits 160, I would exit. Or if it hits 152, 150, I would maybe add. But that would be something I would write down in my trading plan, in my journal, right? Okay, I got signal Agilent. It worked out last time. I think healthcare is going to continue going higher. It's a good hedge if the market pulls back. Buy at 157, exit 157, or add at 152, 150, 152 and a half, 150. Okay, and then see what happens. Thank you, Renata. Any other questions? If there are no other questions, then that's all I have for today. You guys are awesome. Thank you very much. And I will see you next week, same place, same time. Have a great weekend. Enjoy time with your friends and family. Thank you.